Today we're putting these multi-tools to the ultimate wire cutter test. Pennies? It was supposed to be wire. They're called wire cutters. It'd be wire. But not these 1974 pennies. They're too hard. I'll only be using the finest soft pennies. Let's start with the PST to set the cutting standard. And the PST cuts one-handed. But it's a painfully uncomfortable cut on the hands. Next up, Leatherman's signal. This one took 2 hands and it made the plier bind up. I'm doing all these tests multiple times and it consistently bound up. That's the signal. The P4 has the same replaceable cutters. Let's see if it performs any differently. At first, the P4 was one of the best cutters, but as I went on, it became less consistent, and sometimes I had to use 2 hands. So I either dulled the cutters, or my hand is getting tired after an hour of doing this off camera. Something to note here is this little tab makes an otherwise comfortable handle not so comfortable. Let's switch it up with the Victorinox Spirit. That was really easy. Let's do that again. Yeah, that's really nice. It goes through really quickly. The larger Swiss tool has similar wire cutters, so let's test those next. I thought these bigger ones would be even easier, but it actually took me 2 hands to cut through. Next up, the Leatherman Charge. This one took me 2 hands, but I think it could be done with 1. Now something really different, the Crunch. Set that in there. That was really easy. The compounding leverage gives a big advantage, but because of the way this plier head works, it wasn't completely cutting through. But with how little force it takes, they're still impressive cutters. Next up, this is Gerber's NXT, and we shouldn't really even be testing it. But here we go. No can do. The PowerPint and Skeletal were the same, but if you cut adjacent to a previous cut, they will go through. So it's not a matter of the metal being too thick. They just really aren't designed for pennies. And lastly, the center drive. This is a much more expensive Gerber than the last one. You can see the handles are practically parallel due to the out-the-front design. But a little squeeze and it does cut. Now for the results. This was my initial ranking after doing a bunch of off-camera cutting, but when I went to shoot, the P4 actually fell down a spot, and I moved the center drive up for how consistently it was cutting, despite the awkwardness of the parallel handles. But the winner, by a huge margin, is the Spirit. It's just really good at cutting pennies. It wasn't designed to be. It has these 2 wire cutting notches that seem to act like teeth that bite into the metal. They also stop the coin from rotating sideways. It also has really comfortable handles. The shape really lends itself to being squeezed, so you can apply more pressure faster. Now we have to keep in mind this was for cutting pennies. If it was for actual wire, as intended, we could use the hardwire notch, which can cut through tougher metal than pennies. Whereas these center drive cutters can't even cut through this soft aluminum, because they're too shallow. That ranking would look something like this. So now that I've dulled my soft wire cutters, where do we go from here? Well, I'm equipped with the knowledge that cutting through a thin piece of coin is possible. I'm going to be selling these penny sculptures for $100 if you want one, and if you can find me. See ya in the next video.